बिहारी जय गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी जय गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तनम की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। शील प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतः पदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे नमो महावदान्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौरत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे। Hare Krishna. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 3, Text 12. यमोवाच परो मदन्यो जगतस्तस्तुतश्च ओतं प्रोतं पटवद्यत्र विश्वम् यदंशतोऽस्य स्थितिजन्मनाशा नस्योतवद्यस्य वशो च लोकः। यम उवाच परो मदन्यो जगतस्तस्तुषश्च ओतं प्रोतं पटवद्यत्र विश्वम् यदंशतोऽस्य स्थितिजन्मनाशा नस्योतवद्यस्य वशे च लोक। यम उवाच परो मदन्यो जगतस्तस्तुषश्च ओतं प्रोतं पटवद्यत्र विश्वम् यदंशतोऽस्य स्थितिजन्मनाशा नस्योतवद्यस्य वशे च लोकः। परो मदन्यो जगतस्तुषश्च ओतं प्रोतं पटवद्यत्र विश्वम् नस्योतवद्यस्य वशे च लोकः। यम उवाच परमदन्यो जगतस्ततश्च जगतस्तस्तु शस्या ओतं प्रोतं पटवद्यत्र विश्वम् यदंशतस्य स्थितिजन्मनाशा नस्योतवद्यस्य वशे च लोकः. Vaishnavis. Yamovacha Haro madanyo jagatastastu shasya Otam protam patavadyatra vishvam Yadapsmushati janmanasha. Word-to-word translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Yama uvacha. Yamraj replied, Paraha, superior, Mat, than me, Anyaha, another, Jagataha, of all moving things, Tastushaha, of non-moving things, Cha, and, Otam, crosswise, Rotam, lengthwise, Patavat, like a woven cloth, Yatra, in whom, Vishwam, the cosmic manifestation, Yat, of whom, Amshataha, from the partial expansions, Asya, of this universe, Sthiti, the maintenance, Janma, the creation, Nashaha, the annihilation, Nasi, in the nose, Otavat, like the rope, Yasya, of whom, Vashe, under the control, Cha, and, Lokaha, the whole creation. Translation. Yamraj said, My dear servants, you have accepted me as the supreme, but factually I am not. Above me and above all the other demigods, including Indra and Chandra, is the one supreme master and controller. The partial manifestations of his personality are Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, who are in charge of the creation, maintenance, and annihilation of this universe. He is like the two threads that form the length and breadth of a woven cloth. The entire world is controlled by him, just as a bull is controlled by a rope in its nose. Purport. The order carriers of Yamraj suspected that there was a ruler even above Yamraj. To eradicate their doubts, Yamraj immediately replied, Yes, there is one supreme controller above everything. Yamraj is in charge of some of the moving living entities, namely the human beings, but the animals who also move are not under his control. Only human beings have consciousness of right and wrong, and among them, only those who perform sinful activities come under the control of Yamraj. Therefore, although Yamraj is a controller, he is only a departmental controller of a few living entities. There are other demigods who control many other departments, but above them all is one supreme controller, Krishna. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha. The supreme controller is Krishna. Others who control their own departments in the affair of the universe are insignificant in comparison to Krishna, the supreme controller. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita 7.7, Mattaha parataram nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya. My dear Dhananjaya, Arjun, no one is superior to me. Therefore, Yamraj immediately cleared away the doubts of his assistants, the Yamdutas, by confirming that there is a supreme controller above all others. Srila Madhvacharya explains that the word Otam Protam refers to the cause of all causes. The Supreme Lord is both vertical and horizontal to the cosmic manifestation. This is confirmed by the following verse from the Skanda Puran. Yatha kanta pata sutra ota protas cha sastita evam vishna vidam vishwam otam protam cha samstitam. Like the two threads, horizontal and vertical, of which a quilt is manufactured, Lord Vishnu is situated as the vertical and horizontal cause of the cosmic manifestation. Hare Krishna. So I seek the blessings of all the Vishnus assembled for allowing me to speak this Amal Puran as per the Parampara's instructions, and for the pleasure of Shri Radha Vrindavan Chandra, Shri Jagannath Subhadra, Shri Gaunitai, and all the assembled Vaishnavas, Srila Prabhupada. So we are here in a very, very vital section of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the Jamil section. A Jamil section is bringing out the glories of the holy name, and I'll just take some review from this, especially his guest Gaurang Darshan, who has put something very nicely about the glories in a short way. So I just thought we can at least remember the glories of the holy name coming in this section. So holy name, here there are 10 effects of the holy name. First is perfect atonement, helpless chanting, which leads to liberation. So these are the verses, 7, 8 and all. No? These are verses in the first chapter. So perfect atonement attracts the Lord. 9 and 10, even Stena Soropo awakens bhakti. Vedic rituals and atonement cannot awaken bhakti, but holy name can awaken bhakti. And it is a perfect purification because it cleans the dirt of the heart, it frees from sinful reaction, and later in another verse it will also mention that it removes the desire also for sinful activities. Effective in all moods, whether someone is directly referring to the Lord or Sanketyam Pariyasam. Effective in all accidents and calamities. So falling, slipping, in pain, in all situations it acts. It counteracts whole range of sins. Lagunam, Gurunam, heavy or light sins. It uproots the desire, root of all sin, avidya. Infallible action. It is like fire burning the dry grass, and it burns it goes to the root. Independent of chanter's knowledge. So just like the medicine acts without knowledge of the chanter, so similarly. So very beautifully summarized here. And in the end of the second chapter, there is a very important verse, last verse, 49th verse. Mriyamano Hare Nama Grinan Putropacharitam Ajamilopi Agada Dhama Kimuta Shraddhaya Grinan. So here Kaimutaka Nyaya is used to glorify the holy name, sharing that Ajamil, by chanting the name of the Lord to indicate his son, while dying attained the abode of the Lord. What then will happen if one chants with faith? So here Shukdev Goswami is using Kaimutaka Nyaya, and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur elaborates on different aspects of this Kaimutaka Nyaya in terms of Ajamil's situation. So first one is, he chanted without faith. What will happen if one chants with faith? And he chanted while dying. What will happen if one chants while living? He chanted to indicate his son. What will happen to one who chants to indicate the Lord? And he was most sinful. What will happen to a sinfulness person when he chants the holy name? So like that, very beautifully Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur extols the glories of the holy name. That those who are in the Hare Krishna movement, they are actually in this process. They are developing faith in the holy name by the mercy of the great souls. They are also living all the time chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And they are not saying that we want to indicate to the sun, and they are directly calling out to the Lord only. And they are also following the four regulative principles. Jai Shri Radha Vrindavan Chandra Ji ki Jai, Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maiya ki Jai, Shri Gaunitai ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So going further in the third chapter, which we are now in, so there are 4 sections. First is Yamduta's question about the Supreme Controller. So they put it first 10. And then 11 to 20, Yamaraj explains the position of the Supreme Controller, devotees and Bhagavad Dharma. 3 things. Supreme Lord, devotees, so Bhakti, Bhakta and Bhagwan. And then 22 to 30th, Yamraj glorifies the chanting process. And then 31 to 35, chanting versus Vedic rituals. So Parikshit asked two questions. What did Yamraj reply at the defeat of Yamdutas? Means he asked a question and then it was never heard before. People will have doubts. So now Yamraj, of course I have skipped the section of Yamdutas questions. And in Yamraj's answers, first he extols the glories of Supreme Lord between 12 to 16. Then about Vishnu Dutas from 17, 18. And then Bhagavad Dharma in 19, then 20, till 21. And then later he glorifies the holy name, in many verses. And in the end he asks forgiveness also from the Lord for the offense by his dutas. And then Shukdev Goswami concludes sharing further glorification of the holy name and the devotees. So we are in the 12th verse, which is actually glorifying the Lord. So we'll try to discuss based on that. So I've heard whatever lectures Srila Prabhupada had given on this section. So I'll first elucidate some of the main points that Prabhupada shared in that, and then I will go into further discussions on other aspects. So Srila Prabhupada shared first that there are many departmental directors and Yamraj is one of them. And then he shared about everything is under Krishna's control. So he shared many verses. Practically in 15 minutes he elaborated on 7-8 verses. So first he shares that how it is mentioned Otam Protam, the vertical and horizontal threads. Similarly Krishna says Sutre Mani Ganaeva. So all the pearls are on the thread may not be visible, but the pearls are all strung well in the necklace because it's on the thread. So Krishna is that thread. Mai sarvamidam protam sutre mani ganayava, he says in the Gita. And he also tells Arjuna, Ekam shena sthito jagat. So everything is resting upon me and just a fragmental portion of my energies does it. So he is actually having all his energies spread. Aham sarvamidam tatam jagat avyakta murtina. So there Prabhupada goes to the Mayavadis and gives a little punches to them because they have to be, so that the right philosophy is established. So Prabhupada says that it is not that Krishna is lost. Krishna still remains a person, just like there is heat, there is a fire at one place and then heat and light spreads all over. So Parasya Brahmani Shakti Sarvedam Akhilam Jagat. So mistake of the Mayavadis, they don't understand that the Brahman is established on the foundation of the Lord's presence. Brahmano hi pratishtaham. And then he shares also of the two energies, Bhumer Apo Anil Vayu, and the other one, the Paras, what is that? Paras Tasmatu Bhavanyo, so Yayedam Dharyata Jagat. So inferior energy and superior energy. And then he shares that all these energies are resting on Krishna. The energy means there has to be energetic. And he says that Krishna does not have to work hard. Like a big factory man the owner does not work hard. He is a rich man. He has all the energies who work. So he shares the beautiful verse from Shweta Shrotra Upanishad. Parasya Shaktir Vividayo Shvite Swabhaviki Jnana Bala Kriyacha. So he also shares that behind the energy is the energetic, just like behind all the electricity which is working, there is a powerhouse and the executive engineer, he says, executive engineer behind the electricity. And then he gives another aspect. There is another lecture in which he is elaborating on Yamraj's very appropriate position as Mahajan. He shares that modern fellows are just small, tiny fellows, but they say God does not exist. I am supreme. They are so foolish. Mahajan, like Yamraj, although he has all the power in the world, so much powerful he is, that as soon as people hear of death, they fear death, They are very fearful of death is coming, Yamdutas itself is a very fearful thing because as soon as Yamdutas come, they pass urine and stool wherever they are. And Yamdutas are serving Yamraj. So Yamraj is a very fearful personality, so powerful personality, but he is very humble to say that I am not the greatest. So he's just accepting his position before the Supreme Lord. But modern fools, they do not accept. So he was then quoting one. Just yesterday we went to this institute and this boy got up and he said, Swamiji, I don't believe in God, I don't believe in the existence of God. So then Prabhupada asked him, so do you think that you're not controlled? Who is the controller? Even what you are speaking that I don't believe in God, any moment that can itself be stopped by God. So you are controlled at every moment. So see, such fools are existing. So it is very easy to prove. Hiranyakashipu was boldly, Prabhupada gives the example, Hiranyakashipu was boldly saying that I am supreme. But when Narsingadev came, everything was stopped. So Srila Prabhupada in the last pastimes of his, when he was giving purports from the Vrindavan, place of his. So there, I've heard the video also of it, but I'm not able to trace that video, but I felt I should read it from Prabhupada purport in that case. So this is purport of 10-13-53. No one but Vishnu has any independence. If we develop consciousness of this fact, then we are in actual Krishna consciousness. We should always remember that Krishna is the only Supreme Master and that everyone else is his servant. Ekala Ishvara Krishna or Sababhritya. Be one, even Narayana or Lord Shiva, everyone is subordinate to Krishna. Shivi Vrinchi Nutam. Even Baldev is subordinate to Krishna. This is a fact. Ekala Ishvara Krishna Ara Sababhritya. Jare Jaiche Na Chaye Sei Taiche Kare Nitya. One should understand that no one is independent, for everything is part and parcel of Krishna and is acting and moving by the supreme desire of Krishna. This understanding, this consciousness is Krishna consciousness. So this last section is that everything is acting and moving by the supreme desire of Krishna. This understanding, this consciousness is Krishna, and this, some video clipping is there. I was trying to trace, because if you see, Srila Prabhupada was practically, not eating, not sleeping, nothing. He was, not drinking, but he was having pure consciousness. And he was bringing out the ultimate essence, that what is actually the essence of life, Krishna consciousness. This bull and nose example, and the bull's nose and the rope going through the nose and then pulling. So bull is moved wherever the rope goes. This is actually many places in the Srimad Bhagavatam. In the first canto, 13th chapter, Narad Muni is telling this to Yudhishthira Maharaj when he is very concerned about Dhritarashtra. And in the third canto, 15th chapter, demigods and Brahmaji to the Lord. And then fifth canto, first chapter, Brahmaji actually shares this to Priyavrat and others, that we are all controlled actually. It's just like the bull's nose. So Krishna is the supreme controller. Well, there are simpler ways that we can have to discuss that. For example, that story goes of the Sarp. One man wanted to serve the Supreme. So he was in the village and he saw everyone bows down to the Sarpanch. So he bowed down to the Sarpanch. He said, can I be your servant? And then, here we are discussing this because here Jamdutas are asking same question, and Jamdutas are feeling that, we are serving this Yamaraj, but it seems that he is not the best man to serve. Actually, there is something better, someone better. So then Sarpanch says, okay, yeah, you can serve me. But then eventually he sees that Sarpanch is serving some inspector who comes from the city. And then then he begs his permission and goes to the inspector. And then eventually he sees that the inspector, the minister, is actually going to the king. So he says to the minister, sir, can I serve the king? He says, yeah. But later he saw the king is bowing down to the saints. So he said, okay, I think I should serve the saints. And then the saints are going to the temple and bowing down to the Lord. So he understood, oh, this is the Supreme Lord, Supreme Person. I should bow down to him. I should serve him. So also another simple story which comes is that, when one person wanted to find the Supreme Lord, So went to Durga temple and he saw that she's holding a trishul, Shiva is also having, and then, she's having khadag and Shiva has trishul, and then Lord Ram is also having bow and arrow and everything. So no one is free from the engagements, but Lord Krishna is playing only the flute. So he's the supreme. So of course these are layman's way of trying to just get the clue to Krishna's supremacy, but they are very, very worthy to discuss. But if someone wants to go through Shastra, so we'll discuss something from Shastra about some of the big fellows, big personalities. So Krishna, when he was studying in the Gurukul, Sandipani Muni wanted to extol the glories of Lord Krishna and gave a task which no one will be able to otherwise do. No ordinary or extraordinary person can do this task. So he said, my son died and please bring him back to life. Please bring back my son. That is my Guru Dakshina. So Krishna actually goes to, this is at Prabhas Kshetra ocean, the son died. So he went to Prabhas Kshetra and he called out to the ocean that please give back the son of my Guru. So the ocean demigod came and, sorry sir, I did not do anything. There is a Panchajana, some demon inside, and he actually took the son. So he went into the waters and he killed this Panchajana, and on that Panchajana there was a conch shell, which was later Panchajanya. And so that Panchajanya is what becomes Lord's conch shell. But he did not find the son there. So then he goes to Yamloka. As soon as Krishna Balram reach Yamloka, Yamraj is Hari Bol. Thank you for coming. And he worships them with great awe and reverence. And then Lord orders him here. Guru Putram Ihanitam Nija Karma Nibandhanam Anayasva Maharaja Machasana Puraskrita. So my Guru's Putra, you brought him here because Nija Karma Nibandhanam. It was based on his own past karma. But now I am saying you bring him back, you return him back to me. Machasana. This is my order. So Krishna can order even from Yamlok. Here Vishnuduta stopped him, stopped Yamdutas from taking Ajamil to Yamlok. But son had already gone to Yamlok, and from Yamlok he brings him back actually. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, suffering the bondage of his past activity, my spiritual master's son was brought here to you. O great king, obey my command and bring this boy to me without delay. So Lord Krishna can do anything for his devotee. So because that son was connected to Sandipani Muni, he got delivered. So this is about Yamaraj, but above Yamaraj is Mahavishnu. So once there was a Brahmana in Dwarka, and so there, he was actually many sons of his, many children of his died, and then he came, shouting, "What is this? In your kingdom this is happening. I have not done any sin. Still my son is dying." And then Arjuna takes a vow that I will protect your son, and then he also is not able to protect the next son. And then Arjuna has so many powers. He goes all over from the all the lokas, from top to bottom. He goes everywhere, even up till Brahma Loka he goes. But he does not find his son. Then he wants to enter fire. Krishna says, "Hare, don't do this, Baba. You are my dear friend." And he tells him, "Now I will take you to the sun." So he gets his transcendental chariot and he takes him across all the 7 Dvipas and across the dark area, and then goes to Brahmajyoti, and beyond that in the Sagar, where Mahavishnu, he enters the Karana ocean, where Mahavishnu is lying, and there, first Krishna bows down to Mahavishnu, and Arjuna also bows down to Mahavishnu, and Mahavishnu says, "Thank you for coming, I wanted to take your darshan." Mahavishnu tells Arjuna, Krishna, "I wanted to take your darshan." So of course there's a huge commentary, we can discuss that also. Mahavishnu wanted to take darshan, but why did he do such a atrocious thing to Brahmana? So there is a lot of commentary on that. So anyway, but Lord gave darshan to Mahavishnu because Lord is Lord. So Mahavishnu is also a plenary expansion of Lord Krishna. So Mahavishnu also longs to take the beautiful darshan of Lord Krishna. And of course, we know in the Brahma Vimohan Leela also, all the Vishnus enter into the Lord. The Lord expands so many Vishnu forms as Gopas and the calves and all. So that way, Vishnu is also is a portion of the Lord only. And Krishna bring back Nand Maharaj from Varuna also. Varuna Dev one time, when he had taken bath a little too early, and then Brahma Vimohan Leela is proving above Brahmaji. And Bhrigu Muni test, we can go for many Leelas, but Bhrigu Muni test also. Bhriguji goes to Brahmaji and then Lord Shivaji and then Lord Vishnu also, and then hence proved Vishnuji is. I'm not going to discuss that because I want to share something special, which is actually proving all of this thing in a Leela way. So we'll share that one Leela. There is a Leela which comes after Jagai Madai are delivered. You see, here we are reading about Ajamil. And Ajamil got delivered. He was a Brahmana. He had done some good things also. And after that, he faced a setback in his life. And then later on, he got a son named Narayan by the mercy of some Vaishnava. And then, so that is he's still somewhat good. But there are people who cannot be given any rating of good. So Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyak, Ravana, Kumbhakarna, Shishupal, Dantavakra came as Jagai Madai. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came and he delivered Jagai and Madai, after that there is a chapter in Chaitanya Bhagavat called Yamraj Sankirtan. So this is a very beautiful chapter. Yamraj Sankirtan. Of course, you may not be able to see all the time. I will just quickly brush through it. But this is a very beautiful chapter in which everyone goes in ecstasy. Yesterday, Sundarsham Prabhu read only on Yamraj smiling, but now Yamraj is going to go in ecstasy and he goes mad. He faints also. It takes something to faint Yamraj. So Yamraj is having Gauranga's beautiful body was filled with ecstatic love as he sweetly danced. The demigods headed by four-headed Brahma and the five-headed Shiva daily came and served Lord Chaitanya. Okay, we'll first sing Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chanda Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chanda Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chanda Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So when Lord Chaitanya delivered Jagai Madai, so Yamraj would regularly come to see the activities of Lord Chaitanya. Lord Yamraj asked Chitragupta, how many sins did these two fellows do? And what was the remedy for those sins? Chitragupta replied, O Yamraj, listen, what is the use of such futile endeavor? If 100,000 scribes continuously recite for 1 month, they would not easily be able to complete such a task. If you heard them with 100,000 years, you would not hear the complete account. Your servants constantly narrate the sins of these two, and the scribes are frustrated in their attempts to record them. Your servants would always talk about the sins of these two, and they would be chastised as a result. The servants, Yamdutas, are telling this all has been done by them, but then they are being chastised. Why? The servants would say, these two are committing the sins. Our responsibility is to get them recorded. Why should you beat us? If you don't record them, we will be punished. That is why this mountain of records is there for evidence. We even Yamdutas will cry, We even shed tears for these two. How will they tolerate the reactions? Yamdutas are feeling the pain for Jagai Madai, what they will go through in their lives. Within a moment, Mahaprabhu has freed them from all reaction. Now if we are ordered, we can immerse all these records. So they will throw it in the ocean. Yamraj had never been never before seen such glorious deliverance of fallen souls. They were the ultimate. No? Yamaraj was by nature a Vaishnava and personification of religious principle. He knows the confidential purpose of Bhagavad Dharma. As soon as Yamaraj heard the words of Chitragupta, he forgot himself due to love of Krishna. He fell unconscious in his chariot and his body lost all signs of life. His associate, headed by Chitragupta, quickly grabbed hold of him and began to cry. They thought that the personification of death has died actually. They started crying because he has left. All the demigods were traveling in their chariots and singing the glories of the Lord. Yamaraj's chariot was not moving, however, for its occupants were filled with lamentation. Their boss is gone, After seeing the deliverance of the two Brahmana demons, everyone was glorifying the nature of that pastime. The demigods headed by Shiva, Brahma, Shesha and Narada were all glorifying the deliverance of the two. Some of them had never experienced such ecstatic kirtan and some cried after seeing such compassion. The demigods saw Yamaraj lying in his chariot which had stopped. So they all stopped their chariot nearby. Shesha, Brahma, Shiva and various sages headed by Narada saw Yamaraj was lying there unconscious. They were all astonished because they did not know what had happened. Then Chitragupta explained everything to them. Brahma and Shiva realized that he was absorbed in love for Krishna. So they all chanted in his ear. On hearing the kirtan, Yamaraj got up. As he regained his consciousness, he danced like an intoxicated person. Mahamatta Hayya. As the ecstasy of the demigods kirtan intensified, the son of Surya danced in ecstatic love for Krishna. So as you go through, you will see all the demigods coming through and they are all dancing. So as I was saying that this Leela shows that all of them are simply subordinate to Lord Krishna. And more than that, they are ecstatic to see how Jagai Madai also got love for Krishna. On seeing Yamaraj dance, all the other demigods began to dance. Brahma and Shiva also danced with personalities like Narada. Hear attentively about the dancing of the demigods. It is most confidential. But it will be revealed by the Vedas. Vrindavandas Thakur is only Vyasdev. So Vyasdev documented only Ajamilak. Now he has to document, Jagai Madai. Imagine what he will have to do to document what Prabhupada did, So it will be revealed by the Vedas. Dharmaraj gave up all shyness and danced. He forgot himself in love for Krishna. Remembering Sri Chaitanya, he exclaimed, all glories to the munificent deliverer of the fallen souls. I will read what does it say? Sorry. Ati dhanya dhanya patita pavana dhanyavana. No, that's it. He roared loudly and the hairs of the body stood on end in love for God. There was no end to Yamaraj's ecstasy. He became overwhelmed and cried profusely as he remembered Lord Gauranga. Gauranga! On seeing Yamaraj's exhibition of ecstatic love, his associates rolled about in ecstasy. The most fortunate Chitragupta, who had great attachment for Krishna, expressed exultation as he wandered around. Lord Shiva danced without clothing, which he forgot in his ecstatic love for Krishna. He is the foremost Vaishnava. He makes the entire universe glorious by chanting the name of Rama, which delivers one from material bondage. Realizing the glories of the worshipable Lord, Mahesh danced in ecstasy and his matted locks scattered. Kartikeya and Ganesh remembered the Lord's unlimited mercy as they danced on either side of Shiva. The four-headed Brahma, whose life and wealth is devotional service, danced with his associates such as Kashyapa, Kardama, Daksha, Manu and Bhrigu, who all danced behind Brahma. So 2 verses later, all these personalities will be listed also in this section. So they are all now dancing in ecstasy about Lord Chaitanya. There is a long purport by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. All of those Mahabhagavats taught the science of devotional service by becoming intoxicated in the mellows of Krishna consciousness. Surrounding Brahma, they cried and sighed deeply as they remembered the Lord's compassion. As Devarshi Narada danced by the side of Brahma, tears of love flowed from his eyes. After realizing the Lord's unlimited glories, he became so overwhelmed in ecstasy that he forgot his veena. So someone forgot his clothes, someone forgot veena. Shukdev Goswami, the beloved servant of Lord Chaitanya, knew the glories of devotional service. He danced, rolled in the dust and offered repeated obeisances while chanting the names of Jagai, Madai. He was chanting Jagai and Madai's names repeatedly. Not Gauranga. The powerful Indra, who carries the thunderbolt and rules the demigods, reproached himself as he danced. Tears continually flowed from his 1,000 eyes, making the Brahmana's curse fruitful. So Gautam Muni had given him a curse to get 1,000 eyes because of some wrong action of his. But now it became very fruitful, because from all the 1,000 eyes he could actually bring out tears of ecstasy for the joy that he is having for love for Krishna. Realizing the Lord's glories, Indra became most happy as he rolled about without restraint. Where was his thunderbolt? And where were his crown and necklace? This is called ecstatic love for Krishna. Kotha gela vajrasara, kothaye kiritahara. Actually, the Bengali is very sweet, but we are trying to just... After seeing the display of Krishna's glory, predominating deities of the universe like Chandra, Surya, Pavana, Kuvera, Vahani, and Varuna, all servants of Krishna, danced in the ecstasy of love for Krishna. All the demigods danced in ecstasy and forgot who was inferior and who was superior. Although they jostled each other, they were all jubilant as they danced in ecstasy of Krishna consciousness. Lord Ananta danced in the company of Garuda, the son of Vinata. Thus Adidev, the best of the Vaishnavas and maintainer of all, also danced in ecstasy. The demigods headed by Brahma, Shiva, Narada and Shukdev all danced around Ananta as he sang with his 1,000 mouths the glories of Gaurachandra, who had just delivered the 2 Brahmana demons. Some cried, some laughed, some fell unconscious due to seeing the wonderful exhibition of the Lord. Others said, how wonderful are the glories of Lord Gaurachandra! How fortunate are Jagai and Madai! The entire atmosphere was filled with the auspicious sounds of dancing and chanting in glorification of Krishna. The sounds of Jai Jai, Jai Jai was heard throughout innumerable universes, thus vanquishing all inauspiciousness. The auspicious sounds were heard in the planetary systems of Patal, Martya and Swarga, and surpassed even the topmost planet of Satyaloka. As nothing other than the pastimes of delivering the Brahmana demons could be heard, the glories of Gauranga were clearly revealed. All the Mahabhagavad demigods were filled with love for Krishna as they returned to their respective abodes. They did not speak about anything other than the glories of Lord Gauranga. All glories to Lord Gaurachandra, the benefactor of the entire universe. All glories to Lord of all planets and living entities. Please glance mercifully on everyone in the same way that you delivered the Brahmana demons. All glories to Sri Chaitanya, who as a savior, glorious savior of the fallen souls, delivered the entire world. I, Vrindavan Das, sing the glories of Sri Krishna Chaitanya and Sri Nityanand Prabhu. So this is the entire chapter we just read. So if we see, Ajamil was delivered, but it is one case. But Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda came to just take everyone who are the most fallen in this age of Kali, by the power of the holy name, back to Godhead. And Ajamila's program, it is about Vaikunta. But Lord Chaitanya came to give Goloka Vrindavan and the Prema Bhakti of Golok Vrindavan. And if you see Srila Prabhupada, he just, plundered that to go all over the planet. He knew that it is not going to happen by anyone else but Nityanand Prabhu. So he established Gaurnitai deities. Nityanand Prabhu's Avesh, Srila Prabhupada had. And he has delivered so many Jagai and Madai all over the planet and continuing to deliver them by making such an attempt of the book distribution is Brihat Medangam. We are actually reaching out the mercy of Lord Chaitanya to all the living entities in this world. So it's a very, very glorious program, which is somehow, we are there in this moment, just sitting here in the Bhagavatam and speaking the glories of theirs. That itself is the glory of theirs also. Because how could I be sitting here and speaking one of the Jagai Madais, So this is the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. It just takes over the jiva and makes them further glorify the Supreme Lord. So I will just end 2 minutes. So the Sankirtan is a very important program just recently we had a very wonderful camp for all the youth, and so many devotees contributed. We were just bathing in the ocean of the great soul's mercy and the holy name being chanted by them. And so many boys from all over country had come. So Sankirtan is a together program. So we were trying to do something from our youth preachers side, but I would like to heartily express my gratitude to all the devotees. You know, they in the temple, like Kamevan Prabhu helped us with the accommodations, and then Shri Kumar Krishna Prabhu and the team of kitchen worked out the cooking. And actually, many devotees helped us to know what all ideas we can have to accommodate the boys. It was very tough. Ram Sevak Prabhu came up with the idea, you tell to take bath below. We can even vacate the PDC floor, maybe. No? So everyone was very concerned that the boys should feel very happy and sheltered and joyful in life. And like that, Gaurang Pran Prabhu made the decorations below very, 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 this was historical decorations. Till now, we have never got such decorations. And Ajay Gopal Prabhu, our Daujin Taipu's counseling, he actually sponsored the entire decorations. He gave the whole decorations. Daujin Taipu gave venues. And even our Jivanand Prabhu gave venue in the guest house. So everyone looks forward to see the Sankirtan. And of course, what to say about our darshans of the lordships, Shishi Radha Vrindavan Chandra. They are like, one should faint after seeing them. So the lordships, beautiful darshan, our devotees who are pujaris are doing so much loving service to them. So there is unlimited glories of all the devotees who have actually made this effort. And as the Sankirtan goes ahead, more and more living entities will drown in ecstasy, and their the enjoying mentality, Bijanash, Krishna says, Lord Chaitanya's Bijanash says, for the living entities, Bija of enjoying will be finished by Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan. So this Sankirtan movement is Param Vijayate. It is the prime benediction for all humanity at large. And Srila Prabhupada, just one point more, Srila Prabhupada tells that a devotee, it's not like he says, okay, Lord is the supreme controller, so I don't have to do anything. He has to become an instrument of the Lord. So he gives example of Arjuna. Arjuna, Lord Krishna wanted to kill all the living, all the Dushkritas. So he brought all of them and he told Arjuna to do that. And he said, I have already killed them, but you have to just take the credit. And then Prabhupada himself says, just like this preaching is going on in the Western countries all over the world, this is desire of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That is planned already by him. So we are simply a little helping, that's all. We know how much Prabhupada endeavored, but how Prabhupada sees, because he knows the position. So we are simply a little helping, that's all. So our devotional service means that whatever Krishna or God desires, we should try to cooperate with him. That is our perfection. You cannot do anything. He is doing everything. But if you simply cooperate with your desire, that is called devotional service. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. You are there, Vijay. Yes.
So much of energy you put in. I can see your face, and thank you for sharing. That Indra with 1,000 eyes is able to see the pastimes?
He is.
Huh?
Yes, he is seeing with 1,000 eyes and he's crying tears seeing that wonderful.
All the eyes are opened. Huh?
I think so, bro. You must be knowing more.
That's all I want.
Yes. Thank you, bro.
Maybe you must have more than 1,000 eyes now.
Hare Krishna.
Inspired so much energy into the class.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.